Welcome to the channel again, 30-minute missions fans. Number 45 in the series, Gardonova Brown. Came out in 2019, and it's quite unique looking. It looks like a orangutan or something like that, mixed with an M1 Abrams. So we got some nice little action shots, give you an idea of what you can pose it. That gun looks pretty interesting, double drum mag. And you can mix and match parts with other 30 minutes missions and Gundam parts. Anything with a 3mm peg hole used in pegs. Alright. So typical stuff here. Nice red optic or whatever. It's just that one piece. I kind of feel like if you're going to take the trouble of molding all this plastic just for that one tiny piece, maybe they should start adding more red pieces, right? Maybe have a piece of something here and here, so it'll look cooler. You know, clear parts look cooler, and they have to do it anyways. So it's just weird that you'd have so much wasted, right? Just for that one tiny circle. All right, so if you want to pause, you can read about the Gardonova right there, and you can pause and read about the story of this particular Earth Alliance thing. I don't actually read these myself. What's odd is this says 2022. The box did an earlier year, right? Standard stuff. You just gotta look at arrows and shapes, and you can put this together. You don't need any glue. But it is advisable that you get some hobby clippers and clip them off cleanly. So right now I'm using these Rui tool ones, and then the cheap $1 nano glass file. These are generally the only tools I use. Sometimes I might use a buffing stick. Okay, so let me fast forward this and we'll get to the end. Okay, pretty straightforward build. There are a few extra parts. You got two little foot things that don't belong on this robot. 2 hands that don't belong on this robot, and then 2 hip joints, standard length hip joints that obviously don't belong in this robot. But they might come in handy if you break something on a different robot. Otherwise, it's just the gun and the robot itself. So the gun here, yeah, it's got 2 big drum magazines. It's a pretty short, stubby gun, which I actually prefer because it's more solid. Those long bazookas, 3-piece bazookas, they just don't want to stay straight. There's too much play in them. This little barrel will come out, and so you could mate this to other pieces of other guns. But I like this the way it is. Although how it would actually be held is a kind of a mystery. We'll have to see if this thing will hold it. So let's put that up there for now. Stop this spinning. So here we go. It's quite a unique design. Totally unlike any other 30-minute missions that I've run across. So the head is actually part of this chest plate. It has no articulation. Let me just pull this off in case you skipped my fast forward build. It's just this piece of plastic with a red eye in it. And it's literally the chest plate or something. The head cover, there is the neck down in here. So you could theoretically put a different head on, and this would now become like a sensor or a weapon. But for now, it's just covered up by this piece here. So it's quite interesting. Again, this is also the first one I have that has thrusters in the side of it. So now it's reminding me of a Gundam. And you can obviously articulate that thruster. It's kind of neat. And then the shoulder pad here is clipped over the shoulder, and it hinges out so it can try to clear the arm. Like move that up, and then the hinge of the arm can come up. The only problem is these balls they use. They don't get really trapped. You know, it just sits in there, but it doesn't actually clamp around the ball. So very often these arms and sockets fall apart, and it's kind of annoying. But oh well. Okay, so there's a round shaft here, so you could actually spin this arm. It's a little tight right now, of course. And then that leads to a 1 hinge here for this elbow, this first elbow. And you can get a negative bend, as you can see. And then you have a second elbow that contains 2 hinges. So you can fold the arm over itself. And it comes out to be a seamless, straight shield kind of arm if you fold it that way. So then the wrist itself is a hinge, this C-clip hinge, and then this 2 claw thing is on the other side of that C-clip. So let's see that weapon now. Well, I mean, it's weird to have a clawed robot gripping a weapon, but it can be done. It's just, you know, not the most secure fit, but if you put some poster putty in there, it should be fine. I gotta edit this in here. So this little rectangle is meant to hold the pistol like that. So, but the problem is, there's no wrist rotation. It's only a hinge. So you have to rotate the entire arm in order to have the pistol vertical. So let's see. So something like that. It looks a little weird, you know, having the arm like that. Or let's try with this one where the arm is down, and I'll put the pistol in through the palm instead of the back of the hand. Also, will that go anywhere? No, it will not. So unfortunately, this thing doesn't open up, this thumb. That's not particularly good either. That looks weird. So I guess this is the best way to do it. I guess you could just consider it more of a side gun. Although again, this is a hinge also. So I can't bend this arm. No, I basically cannot make this 90 degrees that way. It's unless the arm is totally straight out, which now the shoulder falls off again. So that's the only way I can have the gun in that position. It's just, yeah, so unfortunately, if there was like a rotation in one of these joints, then I could rotate the forearm but it simply won't happen, so that's too bad. What's odd is this weapon doesn't have a 3mm hole anywhere in it, so you can't store it anywhere. All it has is these tabs, but they don't provide any sort of 3mm hole to a tab so you can store it in one of these holes, so that's kind of odd. Alright. Okay, so the hip, well, actually before the hip, there's the upper torso. There's a polycap up in there, and it's trapped by the back plate. So this is one design where it's not going to fall apart. Some of them it's open in the back and the whole polycap will come out, but this one is trapped. But the trade-off is you don't have much forward bending. It's probably because it's colliding right there. So in fact, is this on right? Yeah, I guess it is on right. These things do flip out. Yeah, it is pressed up against it. So, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this off, and I'm going to flip this around and see if this makes more space. I'm not sure if you can, because see, there's a tab there. So I don't think you can get this down in there very well. Well, maybe. So the polycap got stuck down at the bottom here. No, it's still colliding. It's just that this thing is really high up. So let me put this back the way it's supposed to be. So there's that polycap thing. See, it's already fallen out. So it's kind of not the greatest design, to be honest with you. So if you get rid of that front plate, sure, you can have a little more articulation. Well, you know what? Maybe it's just not meant to bend forward because it's colliding there. Alright, well, let's put this crotch piece back on then. Okay, so now these side hip armor things. This is a double stacked hip armor. Comes out a little bit to help clear the legs coming out. So there's the drop down, this tan piece. So that's extended much more than this one, the standard one. But you can move this flap out of the way, swing the leg forward if you want. But not a great amount. It collides with this middle crotch piece. Or you can swing it back. But it's colliding with this piece now. So really it's just not that much articulation compared to other ones. But a little bit, right? And then you can swing that out on this hinge. Pretty good split. That looks like a chicken or something. Alright, so you can do that. And then there's a round shaft so you can rotate the thigh. And then there's a double hinge here for the knee. And you can fold the leg back a decent amount, I guess, but it does collide here. And then this foot is on a hinge with the polycap, so you can collapse that down. And the polycap will allow some side-to-side rocker movement. So that's good. So you can get a very stable pose, just not a very Jean-Claude Van Damme pose, because the polycaps are maxing out like right around there. Right. So yeah, these are some really funky arms. It's I guess if they should come out with a colorway where it's bright orange or bright yellow, so it looks like a construction demolition robot. With this color scheme, it seems like a military kind of robot, but I think it'd be interesting as a construction robot. Sadly, there's no stickers or decals. You know, nice big panels, but nothing to put on them. So this thing was just the last part the instructions said to put on. Hold on. This belongs back here. It's just an extra set of C-clips. Yeah, I guess you could mount it the other way possibly too. Going to this. No, not really. So if you had some other C-clips, you can mount stuff to that. And then, of course, yeah, any one of these 3mm points you can mount stuff to. And this is a square one. So that's, you know what? I'm going to move this brown armor down here. I think that actually works better. Yeah. So then I can... Well, you know, this armor won't go up anyways. It collides with the torso. So I guess it doesn't matter if you have the brown up there. Well, you could essentially move these anywhere, really. There's a 3mm hole. And these themselves have 3mm holes. But these are giant holes, so I'm not sure why those aren't 3mm. Interesting. Alright. Let's see, I kind of... see, that shoulder joint just doesn't work so great. Also, just the way this shoulder armor is designed, you know, the ball just doesn't stick out from this tan, the lighter brown area. It's actually recessed, and so that's also why it's not wanting to stay in the torso so much. There, now it should stay. Well, I guess you'd have to find a balance point. There. Can't have a chicken doing a handstand. Alright. So, orangutan or chicken? That is the question. What is this? What's the inspiration for this guy? I don't know. Please leave a comment. It is kind of weird. Sorry, I had the power cord charging this phone, so there might have been about a bunch of buzzing. Is it a radio interference or just electro interference? I do question why this even came with this gun in the first place if it has claws. I feel like a different accessory, like a Roy would have been better, or some sort of box that it picks up with the claws. Oh well. Okay, well, definitely one of the more unique ones I've run into as far as 30-minute missions goes. And so, yeah, I guess overall I'm happy with it. You're just going to sacrifice, you know, certain mobility that you might be used to because it's a much chunkier robot. I mean, yeah. Okay, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next 30 minutes missions video.